There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another random DOS game show. And this is J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, Volume 1. We'll hit new game. Warning, this will erase all saved games. Do you want to continue? Absolutely, we do. And it'll present us with a bunch of clips that I'm going to ignore because they come from a film and I don't want to get a copyright strike. It's the animated Lord of the Rings movie. Some of you may have seen it. Let's get straight into it. A lump forms in your throat as you say goodbye to Bag End. Sam and Pippin are next to you. They want to accompany you to the Buckland Ferry, where your cousin Merry is waiting for you. And already, we can point out, there's a wee bit of skipping in my ear, but it's not too bad. This is one of the most underrated soundtracks in DOS gaming history. This is the Lord of the Rings soundtrack. Absolutely beautiful original piece from Charles Deanan, and played by the guy who would go on to make the Warcraft soundtrack, I believe. So, it's mouse controlled, and we're in control of Frodo Baggins here, and just Frodo Baggins. So, we left click to move, much like you would in Fallout or any other mouse-driven RPG, and we right-click to bring up our inventory. And I'll show you what each of those things do in due course. What we want to do is talk, and we'll talk to Sam Gamgee. You need someone you can depend on. Well, Sam, since you're one of the most dependable people in literary history, I think we shall recruit you. Recruit Sam Gamgee. Okay, so we'll exit that now, and you'll see that Sam has decided to join us and follow us. We can right-click now and talk to good old Peregrine Pippin Took. Take me with you! Well, I'm convinced. Let's just go back to recruit Pippin Took. So yes, this is by the good folks at Interplay, and is made by Janelle Jacques, I believe their name is. And we can enter Bag End. You're in the front of the door to Bag End. Sure, let's go in. You've entered Bag End, widely renowned as the most comfortable hole in Hobbiton, and until today, home of the Baggins family. Because we're selling Bag End, and we're getting out of the Shire. So, you can see already, there are little text things that are generated when you hit certain areas. You remember the voice of Gandalf a few months ago in this very room. He said to you, "But I do not think you need to go alone, not if you know of anyone you can trust. This room seems cold and barren now. The time has come to leave the Shire." Now, you'll notice the music has changed to a sort of more frantic rate. That's because it's not contextually sensitive. It's one of the downsides. So, let's just, let's see. We can click that to get an overview of our party. And our party all have different characteristics: strength, luck, will, dexterity, endurance, and life. And you can share the money about with 5 silver pennies. You have a choice to attack, but obviously there's nothing here to attack. We're in Bag End. It's fairly ordinary. There's nothing to pick up. And we have an inventory system as well that you can see here. And Frodo, of course, is carrying the ring. For those of you who haven't read Lord of the Rings, it's the greatest novel in literary history. What are you doing with your lives? Please read it. And we can just further explore Bag End here. You're probably thinking, Lawnie, you seem quite enthusiastic about this one. That's because I grew up playing this. This is one of the most underrated RPGs in history. Really is. And I will stick by that comment, because a lot of what this RPG was... Let's see if we can have a look at that. No. There's a skills thing as well. You can use perception and stuff like that in appropriate places. But yeah, it influenced Fallout. It came out, slightly after Wasteland, so obviously Wasteland's influence was higher, but a lot of the people who would create this would go on and look at Fallout. Look what happened there. So there is a sort of legacy of sorts. There is a bit of pathing issues with certain followers. We'll ignore that because they'll snap back into place. And we can just explore the various rooms of this hobbit hole. And it's all very, how to put it? Reassuring, nice, homely, Here we go. Bilbo's chest is in this room. When he left for Rivendell, he forgot to leave the key with Frodo. So what do? Well, we can go and we can use a skill. And it's not Frodo we want, it's good old Pippin. Picklock. You open the chest. There's something gleaming inside, waiting to be taken. Pippin, take the pennies. And that's the use of skills. In certain contextually sensitive areas, you see items here you might use. Ah, sweet. Let's see. Sam can take the torch. Pippin, you can have the rations. Rations and stuff like that can be consumed once or twice a day, I believe it is, to restore health. Don't know if we'll get to the combat in this. I might spend 20 minutes just messing around in the Shire. So yeah, we'll head back out of Bag End. Obviously, there is the issue of, textures being reused and stuff like that. But it's glorious, trust me. Okay, we'll enter this guy's random hobbit hole. You can see there's a nice little room, nowhere near as opulent as ours, but let's talk to Griffo Boffin. Mr. Baggins, I hear you sold Bag End to that awful Lobelia. What a shame. So we can ask a question. Bag End? I don't know any more than you do about that. What about Lobelia? There we go. And that can trigger responses, much like in the original Fallout, which I will keep comparing this to. And now she's my neighbour, and that awful little pimple-faced son of hers, Lofo. I think I'll sell my hole. Well, that's an interesting statement. So we can exit out of that with the right click. And that is the glorious conversation with Griffo Boffin. Amazing stuff. He doesn't really have much to say. As you can see, there's a day-night cycle, and that does affect gameplay. Certain creatures come out at night that wouldn't during the day, or wouldn't do it as much. And here we have another hobbit to talk to. Let's talk to them. May Brownlock. Mr. Baggins, I've just heard the strangest news. News? Evil men in black cloaks are riding around on black horses causing trouble. Beware the Black Riders. Is she going to say I don't know any more about that if I say Black Riders? No. She's just going to repeat what she said, but hey, we should avoid those Black Rider types, definitely. Should probably leave the Shire, shouldn't we? Nah, it's not like they're after anything that we have, right? We can just afford to just randomly visit all the hobbit holes. What about you? Let's talk. Bingo Chub. Mr. Baggins. So he's pretty much the same as the other guy. And this was commonplace in RPGs back in the early 90s. This was released in 1990. The enhanced edition came out in about 92. You'd have sort of stock characters, and then you'd have not so stock characters like the one ahead. Lobelia Sackville Baggins, it's Frodo with her umbrella. Give me the key to Bag End, she shouts. It's time that decent folk lived here. Give it to me now. Okay, so can we talk to Lobelia? You'll also notice our health has gone down because she hit us with the umbrella. Cruel woman. Don't try to fool me with your talk. Give me that key. Bag End is mine now. Key? Don't bother me with your questions, you impudent whelp. Oh dear. Even a brandybuck must know that the sale of a hole also includes the key to the front door. Give me the key. Okay. Don't you dare speak to me that way, you little upstart. You know what key I'm talking about. Okay. So, we have to... we can't recruit Lobelia. That would be a mistake. Let's just switch back to Frodo. And then, let's see, how do we do this? Trade from Frodo to Lobelia. Give her the ring. There you go. Have fun with the Black Riders. Frodo, no, you've doomed us all. Trade Bag End key to Lobelia. Are you sure? Because this means you can't go back into Bag End, obviously. Yes. Ours at last, Lobelia says. Now off to Buckland with you, and don't bother us again. And off she trots. Very, very happy. But you can see, obviously, the limitations in that they looked just like May Brownlock did, even though they were an old woman. You see old Gaffer Gamgee wave at you as you pass by. Let's have a little conversation with old Gaffer Gamgee. Hey, the Gaffer. Have you heard of the lost kids? Can't say I know much. They know more at the inn. What if we say inn? The Hobbiton Inn. A couple of folks was saying that old Farmer Grubb was real upset. Maybe Freddy is missing. Freddy? I don't know. No, he doesn't care about Freddy. Grubb? Ah, you know, Farmer Grubb of the Grange and his boy Freddy. That boy always did go off on his own too much. You're right, Gaffer, he sure did. Lost? No. See, you have to remember the sort of trigger words. So, lost kids. Kids? They were talking about them in the Hobbiton Inn. Okay, Gaffer. I always find it fun that Gaffer is just there, chatting away to you. I wonder if we select Sam, because Sam is like the Gaffer's son, will that make a difference? Not sure it will, but let's try it. Talk to the Gaffer. No, he doesn't care. But Dad, I'm your son. I don't care about you. You're not lost. I suppose we could try and go into the Gaffer's hole. Let's try that. No. But we've got Sam. Why wouldn't he let us in? I did a review about this one time. More people need to know about this game. So, there is a map. That's magic. I've actually forgotten how to look at the map. That's impressive. It's been too long. I should look up the key commands again, but no. In my hubris, I decided to just play it without remembering. So, I think this leads to a bridge. In the distance towards the east, you can see the bridge that leads to the eastwards. We're not going to go that way quite yet. We could, but let's just head to the inn. You're like, Lawnie, when are you going to get to the good bit? When are you going to get to the fighting and the combat and all that? Soon enough. That looks like an inn. No, that's some random person's house. Anson Goodbody. My dog has run away, and I'm too lame to catch it. Please bring him back. Ooh, a quest. Dog. He was last seen in the western fields. I'd be grateful if you find him. So that's another potential quest. You know, never mind the world-changing implications of the Ring and the Black Riders who are trying to hunt me down. Let's go find a dog. So there's another bridge. There's no path to that bridge, so I'm going to head further down and see what else there is to explore. This is just the very start of The Lord of the Rings. Your admiring gaze falls upon the chestnut trees of Hill Lane. Birds are singing. That's lovely. And the thing is, this actually has stuff that's not in the original. Like, it's not in Tolkien's work. It was inspired by Lord of the Rings paper-based RPGs back in the day. A sinister black smoke and foul stench comes from the mill yard. Nothing like this has been seen in the Shire before. And that's the rampant and creeping industrialization. Look at those men. We don't want to go in there. They will not appreciate our presence. There is a bit later where you can actually sabotage the mill because, industrial progress is evil in Lord of the Rings. It's actually an allegory. I know Tolkien said he didn't like allegories, but it really was the creeping industrialization. Oh, look at this. You spot a pretty hobbit lass with a tearful face at the bar. Hey, and I'll show you the extended conversation here. So if we talk to Daisy, it goes to this. A full page of text for you to read. This is Daisy Proudfoot. You ask her apparently I can't even speak. You ask her what is wrong, and in a quivering voice she implores, "Me sister Taffy and her friend Freddy Grubb are lost in the East Woods. Oh brave sirs, won't you please find them before the wolves do? Take Taffy to Great Road Goods and Freddy back to his father." And it's nice, simple sort of quest line just to get you, immersed in the world and figuring out the systems of the game. And the thing with the prompts is that they will pop up every so often. You can often find elves in the southwestern woodlands of a shire, making the journey to the havens of a western sea. Perhaps they might help you. I mean, they could, but we need to head up at this point, back towards that bridge we were looking at. And I remember playing this back in the day on my 486 DX2, which came out 3 or 4 years after this was released, and being far, far too fast for the game in question. So you'd race around like a absolute race car, and it helped, speed things along. It's actually quite disconcerting for me playing it at the regular speed, because I'm not used to this. I'm used to moving quicker than this. Let's see. Is this the wrong way? I believe it is. I think we have to go further north. But yeah, it's a game that, alongside Dune, the first Dune game, I will go to bat for endlessly, again and again, because it's just so well done. So we'll see if we can get into a bit of combat trouble here, because we're 3 hobbits. Do we have any weaponry even? I mean, Sam has that torch, doesn't he? Let's see. Equip. Torch. There we go. Sam has a torch equipped. Pippin, you can't exactly equip rations, and we do not want to equip the ring. The ring can be equipped by Frodo to make him invisible, but certain entities can still see him, and it drains his willpower. A child's sobbing echoes through the woods. That's what we've come to find. Aha! A keen howl comes from the shadowed woods. Uh-oh. Let's talk to the lass in distress. No, let's not dismiss Sam and Pippin. Talk to Taffy. Please make the bad doggies go away. Let's question her about doggies. I'm not moving till they all go away, or until Freddy comes back. You can't make me. Well, we're 3 grown hobbits. I mean, I suppose we could. Let's see, can we use Pippin's charisma on this girl? Let's see. Pippin, use your... Oh no, it's Sam with the charisma, isn't it? It's like I've never played this game before. Taffy tries to smile, and she says she'll go along with you. She says her friend Freddy Grubb fell into a cave and hurt himself. She wants you to keep the doggies away from her and find her friend. Well, we can try, Taffy. Another howl, only closer, louder, and darkly ominous. The wolves sound hungry. Right, time to find this cave then, before the wolves devour us all. Okay, there is the cave. But how are we going to get to it? A child's jacket flutters in front of a cave on the cliff face. So we need to use a skill again in order to get down there. Does Pippin have a skill to climb? Did that work? I'm not sure it did. No. Well, let's just... You misstep and tumble down the side of the cliff. Whoops. But we were able to get in. That's the important thing. And here's the dungeon, which kind of looks like the Fallout dungeons, no? This cave is full of webs and stinks of good meat gone bad. Remember Fallout? So there is a endless bottomless pit here, and if you charge down there, your characters will die instantly. So that would not be very clever. Faint crying tells you that someone is alive in here. So let's just head. There's somebody alive. Hey. Oh no! And welcome to combat. The music changes, and we are in a combat scenario. So it's turn-based. We'll move Frodo forward. Can he attack there? Frodo Baggins hits the spider for 1 point of damage. Well done, Frodo. That was practically worthless. And if you move too much, your action points are done, and the enemy gets a go. So let's attack the spider again. No damage because, he's not using a weapon. Sam, on the other hand, has a torch. Well done, Sam. You did no damage. So this could be bad for us because we didn't plan in advance, and she's absolutely no good at combat, so let's just take out this spider. 2 points of damage. That's more like it. Sam, you got hit by the spider. Attack him again. 2 points. And I think depending on how close you are, changes your damage. But you can see the exclamation point by the spider there, showing that his hit points are low. So you'll see when the spider takes his turn, yes, that hit points box there is much lower on the left hand side. So swing and a miss at Pippin. We'll just do another round of combat. Finally, Sam is making a difference. Pippin kills spider. Hooray! Freddy is free from the spider but badly wounded. He's doing his best not to sob and is overjoyed to be with the people who will help him get home. He joins your party. Several items are scattered nearby, including the bones of a dwarf that died trussed up like a roasting pig, an old axe, a star-shaped key, and a weather-worn scroll with legible dwarf runes in his hand. The scroll is readable. Oh. So, Pippin, you take the axe and the star key, and I'm just going to leave it there. And you're like, Lawnie, why? And I'm like, well, if you've made it this far, you should probably play Lord of the Rings. It's a fun top-down RPG in the vein of Wasteland, Fallout. I'm just going to keep mentioning those, party-based, top-down RPG with the Lord of the Rings story, plus the trimmings. It's great stuff. The soundtrack's terrific, and it's a massively, massively underrated game that I've been championing for decades at this point. It was enjoyable to play, it'll feature in my top 25, and if you didn't enjoy it, well, what's wrong with you? And if you like me talking about childhood classics or DOS games I've never come across, feel free to take a look at the hundreds of other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, you can always subscribe. And if you are a Lord of the Rings fanatic and well-read, you're probably one of my scholarly patrons, a secret cabal of readers whose knowledge is as impeccable as their taste. Great folk, and a true fellowship that I'm happy to be a part of. So yeah, I love this game. I am completely biased in its favour, but maybe if you're an RPG fan, you'll come across this and you'll be like, hey, this is cool. Until next time.